शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now our next mantra in Rudrasuktam is Namaha Irinyaya cha Prapathyaya cha. Prapathyaya cha. Prapathyaya cha. Irini means the wet soil. Wet soil. So Namaha Irinyaya. So salutation to Rudra, who is in the form of the wet soil. So the wet soil signifies the soil which is because it is wet, you can expect germination of the seeds and sprouts coming out. If there is no moisture, if the soil is not wet, if it is dry and hard, then even if you put seeds, they cannot germinate. So this process of germination is also a manifestation of the activity of Rudras. So that process is possible when the soil is wet. Because in the process of germination, if generally when you observe only, you will see that you put the soil and gradually the sprout came out and developing into a plant. But there is an occult process. Occult means the process is there, you see before your eyes, it is germinating, but at the same time you cannot see what is the finer process that is happening. In this space, these Rudras, they work out in what you see as germinating it is a synthesis, a gathering of various substances, and they synthesizing these substances to get into a form. This is a wonderful activity, synthetic activity going on. Same thing, similar also, what you find the development of an embryo also, because how a unicellular substance can develop with so many multiple parts and organs, with all this structure and all these things, all this process is conducted in the space. We try to know so many things, but we never try to know how all this subtle activity, this occult activity is going on in the creation. So who is responsible? Because you see, if the soil is not wet, this cannot happen. So everything is a synthesis. The soil is having all the minerals, but this water gives the wetness, and this makes it possible for the seed to germinate. You see all these things, how they are synthesized. So therefore, Nama Irinyaya. So my salutations to Rudra, who is in the form of this wet soil. So wet soil is so important. So it is also a manifestation of Rudra. Therefore, salutation to Rudra in this form. Generally, in our human life, we never give attention or importance to these subtle phenomenon which are going on in creation, even within ourselves. We don't know ourselves, we don't know what is happening happening in us, but we feel we know everything outside.
Обычно в жизни мы не обращаем внимания на те тонкие вещи, которые происходят даже внутри нас. Мы их не осознаем и не смотрим на них. То есть нам просто интересно то, что происходит вовне, и мы думаем, что мы так много знаем.
Therefore, in the Vedic mantras,
Поэтому в ведических мантрах
always our attention is drawn towards this occult phenomenon.
Всегда наше внимание обращается на этот оккультный, скрытый феномен.
For example, our utterance of a speech, our utterance of a word, it is also an occult phenomenon.
Вот, например, наше произношение речи, это является вот одним из таких феноменов.
We never contemplate upon this. We keep on speaking out words, speaking, uttering, but we never give importance to how is it happening. This is explained in Saraswati Suktam. Saraswati. In that Suktam, it is said that you are seeing, you are listening to the voice, to the vak, that means the utterance, but you are not listening. You are looking at it, but you are not looking. That means in our daily life, we make use of it, but we never try to see through what is happening, how all this is happening. Every word what we utter is being uttered out into the audible form, the physical form, from our innermost center in 4 phases. So only the fourth phase is the one which we know as speech, which we utter out physically. All the 3 previous phases are hidden inside. In that Suktam, in that mantra, it is poetically said that the 3 phases, starting phases of the utterance, they are hidden in a cave in you, in a cave. So we always think that we are uttering, we are talking, we are uttering. But it is but how we are able to utter, it is because this goddess of speech, she is uttering, and the utterer and the innermost one is what we call I am. So the speech flows out like a river.
И речь, она протекает через нас как река.
Because speech is a form of energy.
Потому что речь это форма энергии.
And because it is flowing from higher consciousness to our level of consciousness, this flowing nature is called Saraswati. She is called Saraswati because she is flowing down.
И вот этот процесс нисхождения этой энергии с высших планов сюда, на этот план, этот поток называется Сарасвати. Сверху вниз, с высших планов на этот.
We will study it when we start studying Saraswati Sukta.
Мы это будем изучать, когда начнем изучать Сарасвати Сукта.
So when you study the Vedic mantram, you are immediately drawn towards this inner, the hidden side of our existence.
И когда мы изучаем ведические мантры, мы попадаем в эту скрытую суть бытия, суть существования. Когда мы изучаем и произносим ведические мантры, это переносит нас в скрытую суть бытия.
So we have to always remember that our existence is not just this frame that appears, but that is beyond this, and which is not perceptible physically, but we have to try to connect to that.
И поэтому мы должны помнить, что наше существование – это не та физическая форма, которую мы можем видеть и воспринимать, а то, что скрыто за этим. Мы должны стараться связываться, взаимодействовать именно с этим.
So, how we are able to communicate with each other? This is a transmission of energy through space.
Как мы общаемся друг с другом, это передача энергии через пространство. Как мы взаимодействуем и общаемся, разговариваем друг с другом. Это передача энергии через пространство.
So the one who utters a word, it starts from the utterer as an impulse and then comes down. It is translated into a language and comes down, and it is uttered into a language physically. And how it is reaching the other person who listens to it, it is through space. Because sound is transmitted through space.
Язык, потом язык преобразуется в произносимое слово, со словом в звук, и дальше звук передается через пространство, и любой человек может его слышать и воспринимать. Звук, слово, идеи и то, что за этим стоит.
So the sound vibration that reaches our eardrums again is received as sound vibration, and it is once again transformed into the import which is carried through this sound potency, and then it is transformed into the thought, and that is how we are able to receive, we are able to understand, we are able to communicate. You see, so much of process is there.
понимает мысль другого человека, и происходит взаимодействие, общение.
But always we think that we are speaking.
Мы просто думаем, что мы говорим, разговариваем.
So now here you see, salutation to the Lord Rudra, who is in the form of the wet soil. And in the next line, Prapathyaya. So, Patha means the way, the road, the way is there, that is called Patha. Path. From that only you have the word path. Yes. So, Pathya is one who is on the path. And Prapatya, why Prapatya? Prapatya means the path which is full of people. So the path which is full of people who are on the path, that is Prapatya. So salutations to the Lord who is in the form of the path which is filled with people on the path. And this signifies the path of our journey also. It is not just only physical journey, but journey of our soul through this mundane world. We are born again and we are living in the form, in the body every time. So this is also a path. And in this path you are never alone. Because there are many who are also passing, who are walking on this path. When we have come into body, when we are in the form, from the moment we came into this form, always we have so many beings like us who are also on this path. We are never alone. And who made this path?
Которые
Who made this path?
те, кто сделал, протопил эту тропинку, протоптал.
So it is the Lord Himself.
То есть это сам Бог.
Now we pass on to the next one.
Дальше переходим к следующей.
Namah Kigum Silaya Cha. Kigum K-I. జీ కిందను ఐ ఇక్కడ తీసేయాలి, కిగిమ్ అని పెట్టాను. జీ తర్వాత ఐ తీసే, కిగిమ్ కలిపారు వర్డ్. కిగిమ్ ఈ ఎమ్ అంటే జరపాలి, జీ పక్కకి. ఎం కింద చుక్కబెట్టు, జీ కింద చుక్కబెట్టు. శిలాయచ. ఎస్ పైన పెట్టాలి. శిల. క్షయణాయ చ. నా ఆదీర్ఘం. చ సీకం చుక్క. This is this while uttering we utter as Kigum Sila, but actually the word is Kim Sila. Kim Sila. So Kim Sila means stone. Kim Sila means small pieces of stones. So, salutations to the Lord Rudra, who is in the form of this small stones, the place which is full of the small stones. And then Kshayanaya, the other word is Kshayanaya means the area, the place which is suitable to make our residence. So salutations to Rudra, who is also in the form of the land which is suitable for to make our residence. So here you see, when we want to make our dwelling place, for example, to build a house, so you need a piece of land. which is suitable to build, to make a structure.
который будет подходить для того, чтобы на ней построить здание.
For making a structure, you need small stones.
И вот для того, чтобы сделать здание, нам нужны небольшие камни.
So the stones, you cannot just you cannot live just on the stones, but you can utilize these stones to make this structure. You can utilize these stones to make this structure for you to live.
И мы можем использовать эти камни для того, чтобы сделать из них дом, чтобы жить.
So here, the Lord Rudra he made himself available for us in the form of a place where we can dwell, where we can make our residence, and also in the form of the necessary stones which are required also to make our residence.
И вот здесь Бог сделал себя в виде места, где мы можем жить, и также в виде камней, из которых мы можем построить дом.
So these are all various manifest forms of Rudra.
Это все различные проявления Рудры, проявленные формы Рудры.
Because the existence of all these forms is because of the vibrations activity of Rudra.
И все эти формы, они могут существовать благодаря вибрациям Рудры.
When you study this Rudrasuktam, you always feel that how every form, every sort of form is connected to or attributed to Rudra.
Когда мы читаем эту Рудрасукту, изучаем ее, мы думаем, как все эти формы связаны с Богом, с Рудрой.
We have, in the very beginning, we have known that Rudra is the Lord of vibration.
С самого начала мы знаем, что Рудра – это Бог вибраций.
So then, all the matter, all the matter, how this matter is existing.
Когда как вся материя, как она существует. Because we have studied earlier that we have three levels of consciousness: matter, energy, and the higher consciousness. Вот до этого мы изучали, что у нас есть три уровня плана сознания. Это материя, энергия и сознание.
Which are called Bhuhu, the plane of matter, and Bhuvaha, the plane of energy, and Suvaha, the plane of the source, light, radiation of light.
То есть, которые называются Бху, это план материи, Хава – это план энергии, и Сваха – это план излучения света.
So Vasu, Rudra, and Adityas.
То есть Васу, Рудры и Адити.
So from the higher plane, the plane of radiation of light, that is passing, when it came to the level of vibration, it is from that level that you have the formation of the fundamental units of matter.
Когда высшего плана излучения идет на план вибрации, материи.
So the fundamental units of matter, which we call atoms,
И основная, из чего состоит материя, то, что мы называем атомом.
so these atoms,
Эти атомы,
they came into existence because of the vibratory activity of Rudras.
они пришли в свое существование благодаря деятельности Рудры.
Then you have the formation of tangible matter from, you see, atoms, molecules, and then all these substances and all these things.
И дальше
By,
разводятся молекулы и все вещества,
the inorganic and organic substances.
как органические, так и неорганические вещества.
So thus, from the very starting point of the manifestation of these fundamental units of matter,
С самой изначальной точки возникновения материи
until the physical structure, material of the hard matter structure is formed in between all these activities of Rudras.
и вот до уже окончательного формирования физической материи, все, что между этим, это как раз и является деятельностью Рудры.
And finally, when you get the form, this structure or the form that is the work of the devas of precipitation, who are called Vasus.
И в конце концов, уже когда все это исходит на физический план, здесь уже это деятельность, которая называется Васусой.
So therefore, this Rudrasukta deals with the Rudra Loka. Rudra Loka means the plane of vibration.
Поэтому вот эта Рудрасукта, она отражает Рудра Локу, то есть план вибрации.
So that is why in the Rudrasukta you have reference to all the various things which we find in the creation around us. So we are connected to all those things because all are manifestation of the working of Rudras.
И вот поэтому Рудрасуктам она отражает все различные процессы, которые мы видим в жизни, только она как раз отражает the last part of the sentence.
So we are, Rudrasukta gives us how we are connected to all these various phenomenon which are manifestations of Rudras.
Она отражает ту нашу связь с различными феноменами жизни, которые являются проявлением Рудры.
Используем сейчас термин рудры в разных формах. Это одно и то же, что дым, что разум, или что-то такое. Сейчас она действительно становится форме.
Рудры — это 11 дыр, которые отличаются от плана вибраций. самый главный Рудра Рудра это Шива.
Нет,
Вибрация, да, главное.
я не знаю.
The question is to saying Rudras. И что ты спрашиваешь о Рудре?
Рудры, сейчас используются рудры в разных странах. Песка, калина.
All different form of Rudras in sand, stones, water, and so on.
И вот как это соотносится с понятием девы, расы?
How it is related with their devas and consciousness, with the intuition of devas. Consciousness.
Because our life in the mundane world
Мы знаем, что наша жизнь в этом мире, в повседневной жизни,
it is possible
она возможна
because of the various activities of various devas.
только благодаря деятельности различных дев.
But these activities of devas are hidden or occult because devas are in occult form.
Но эта деятельность дев, она скрыта от нашего глаза, она как бы тайная.
So therefore, since we are living in manifested in material plane,
И поскольку мы живем в этом проявленном материальном мире,
we can get into contact with the devas
мы можем входить в контакт с девами
through this higher level of consciousness.
через этот высокий уровень сознания.
So therefore, that is why we need these mantras. By uttering and by contemplating these mantras, then we are connected to those corresponding devas who are working.
Вот почему через произношение этих мантр происходит, мы связываемся с этими, с соответствующими девами, которые там произносят.
For example, you take every day we are uttering Namaste Vayo.
Например, каждый день мы произносим Намасте Ваю.
So this Vayu is the lord of our pulsations.
И вот Ваю это является дева, бог пульсации.
And all this activity of our inhalation and exhalation is conducted through these pulsations which are governed by Vayu.
Вся деятельность нашего дыхания, вдоха и выдоха, она управляется пульсацией, то есть дева Ваю.
But every moment all this activity is going on in us, but we are not really awakened into this consciousness of the devas who are working for this.
Но вы знаете, каждый день эта деятельность дыхания происходит с нами, но мы не осознаем этого, мы не осознаем, что это дева, которая работает и делает, что мы дышим.
So even if somebody like Master says that you have to consciously get connected to the Lord of the breath, that means first when you have to get contact, you have to think of this Lord and who is responsible for this inhalation and exhalation. Even though we are told, but for how much time we remember this?
И даже если мастер нам говорит, мы должны подумать о этом деве, который за это отвечает, но даже когда нам это говорят,
What is most important in our life is if we could remember this, these devas and their work. Every moment our existence is possible only because of their work.
Все, что мы должны помнить в нашей жизни, это что наше само существование, каждое мгновение обязано постоянной работе всех этих дев.
But so you see, even though we say that we have to remember this, but just after 2-3 minutes we forget.
Ну, через 2 минуты мы уже об этом. Вопрос в чем? Вопрос выше.
Почему не отвечают? Нина не понимает, что такое Рудра, что такое Дева, что такое Рас. Ну, что такое Дева, я понимаю. А вот когда Рудра, он уже песка, Рудра это тоже воды. Все эти перечисляются, Рудра становится, это что, уже проявленный мир, как бы результат действия этих Рудр. В этом мире. Я разумею, как отвечать.
She understands, she says she understands the concept of devas, but she doesn't understand what is the difference between Rudras and devas and consciousness.
Rudra is also one group of devas. In the very beginning I told you there are groups of devas, Adityas, Rudras, Vasus and Aswins. Vasus and Aswins. So Rudra is one of the group of devas. I have also in the very beginning explained you the number of the particular number of each group of these devas, which gives us the key to understand this creation. So the number 33 groups of devas.
And would you say that consciousness and devas are like synonyms?
Consciousness is, yes, I understand. Consciousness is the level of consciousness is that level where devas are working, where we are there. So there are different levels of consciousness. So devas are in the higher consciousness. So we are on the lower level of consciousness. So to get into contact with the devas, our consciousness has to raise from this level to the higher level. Higher level means in us soul level. And for that purpose, we are given all these practices. For example, like in every morning, what we are practicing pranayama, for example. So, for example, that is to get into contact with the Lord of by the Lord of pulsation who causes this inhalation and exhalation to get into contact, to utter, through Soham and finally through Om while breathing. So through this is a practice to get into contact, and that enables us to raise our consciousness.
И через произношение Сохама и потом Ом, то есть мы именно в нашем сознании поднимается.
Yes?
And if these 11 rudras, they have symbolic names, if yes, can you give them?
Oh yes, the names of, from time to time we hear the names of Shankara. Shankara is one of the Rudras, chief of Rudras, who is also called Shiva. He is the chief of Rudras. So, during this study of this Rudrasuktam, you have come across the different names of to the Rudras, Soma, Shankara, all these. So these generally they are considered as names of the synonyms are the names of Lord Shiva. So these are the names of these the Rudras. So the chief is called Shankara or Shiva. And those are also not, as I told you in the beginning, they are not personal names. All the names which you find in the Vedas, they are functional names, not personal names. So therefore we have to always, when we study in the Vedas, Puranas, then we have to remember that the names which we come across, they are not personal. So if you want, you can write down the names. He will write down the names. You can write down these 11 names of Rudras. Chirpis many rights. And సరిపోలేదే అండ్ పక్క అడగడం చెప్పి First is Manu. In the beginning, Namaste Rudra Manyava. So Rudra as Manu. The second is Manu. The third is Mahinasa.
Mahinasa. Mahinasa.
మహీనస పైన దీర్ఘం పెట్టు మహీనస మహీనస నాలుగోది ఏంటి పూర్తి రాయలేదు నాలుగోది పూర్తిగా రాయి మహాన్ మహాన్ ఫోర్త్ ఇస్ మహాన్ ఫిఫ్త్ ఇస్ శివ ऋतध्वज ऋतध्वज ऋत ऋत एव्री डे वी से ऋतं वदिष्यामि ऋत ऋतध्वज and then the seventh one is ugra reta ugra reta ఈ తొమ్మిదవది పైన కాల కా దీర్ఘం పెట్టు ది ఎయిత్ వన్ ఈజ్ భవ ఎయిత్ వన్ ఈజ్ భవ ఇసి నమో భవాయ చ రుద్రాయ చ and the ninth one is kala 10th is vamadeva vamadeva and 11th one is dhritavrata dhritavrata board everybody can see ఇలా కనిపించాలి కొంచెం So if all of you have noted down, then the next mantra will be written. Namah kapardine cha pulastaye cha. Yes. Still. She is. Which one? మంత్రం రాసి నమః కపర్దినే చ కపర్దినే చ పులస్తయే చ ఈ చివరి జరిపే మళ్ళీ ఇవి కనిపిస్తుంది ఈ చివరివి చెప్పేసి కపర్ది డిహెచ్ అక్కల కపర్ది So kapardinecha, kaparda means, Shiva has a very big tuft of hair which is rolled and rolled and rolled.
Знаете, что у Шивы от волос на макушке гладко так вот намотан, есть у него такая кичка.
This is why he has such so long hair rolled like this.
Зачем ему вот так волосы сюда наматывать?
There is in Ramayana, in the epic, it is given how the river Ganga has descended from the higher plane to the earth. So there was a rishi called Bhagiratha. Bhagiratha. Bhagi. I did know him. Bhagi దగ్గర I did know him. I find him Bhagi. Yes, Bhagiratha. So he has done tapas to please Lord Shiva. That a very holy river is to be brought from the higher levels to the earth. But that when it descends from the higher plane of consciousness, it is transformed into very high energy. So it is not only just falling off down, pouring into water as water, but it is high energy. So directly, if it is coming down to earth here, the matter of the earth cannot withstand this. So therefore Bhagiratha approached Shiva and prayed him to help this. So then Shiva received this high energy into his tufts of hair. And then transformed this again into this water and coming down from his tufts, flowing down. And coming down and touching first on the highest peaks of Himalayas. From there gradually it has flown down so that everybody could approach this river.
И оттуда постепенно она спускается вниз, так что все выйдут доступны для всех.
So this tuft of hair, kaparda, this tuft of hair symbolizes
И вот эта птичка на голове, копатка,
the path of these high energies,
она символизирует часть этой высокой энергии,
which is symbolically explained in the story as the tuft of hair.
которая символично описывается как вот птичка волос.
Because it is a circular path. The path is circular path,
Поскольку это
spiral path.
процесс спирали.
So, from higher level of energy, this descends to the lower level of consciousness. From higher level, it is always through the spiral path.
И вот с высокого плана энергии, как бы энергия по спирали исходит на наш план.
So, this is all the electromagnetic phenomenon.
Это как раз электромагнитный феномен.
And Rudras are the lords of this electromagnetic phenomenon.
И рудры как раз являются богами этого электромагнитного феномена на Земле.
This is all a very wonderful arrangement in its creation. You see the radiation of light coming from very, very high through our sun of our solar system coming down, and this is once again, it has to come down into the plane of vibration as energy, so it has to take a spiral path.
И вот энергия с высших планов, она исходит на наше Солнце, потом от Солнца она также в виде излучений исходит уже к нам на Землю в таком виде, в котором мы можем ее воспринять, чтобы она не разрушила нас.
And all these spirals are explained as the path of these high energies. This path is a spiral path in the space.
И вот все эти спирали, они описываются как путь этой энергии, этот путь он в виде спирали.
And all these spirals
И все эти спирали,
are formed
они сформированы
by the circular movement
через циркулярное движение
of the planets of our solar system
планетами нашей Солнечной системы.
and this circular movement of the planets of our solar system is guided by the circular movement of the greater suns who guide our sun of our solar system.
И вот это вращательное циркулярное движение планет нашей Солнечной системы, оно управляется звездами, которые управляют Солнцем.
That is why when you go into the study of the Vedic science and also you get into Puranas, you find that a solar system which is a smaller one, the whole solar system keeps on going around another bigger solar system.
И вот если мы изучаем Веды и Пураны, то там мы увидим, что описывается, что наша Солнечная система, она также является частью другой системы, то есть она вращается сама тоже вокруг центра, то есть она тоже совершает циркулярное движение.
And within the solar system,
И вот внутри Солнечной системы
all the planetary logos, all the planets, their path is also a circular path, going around the sun. All the planets moving around the sun, once again, it is also a circular path.
Все планеты двигаются вокруг Солнца, то вот как раз тоже по кругу циркулярно.
So this whole, the sun, because the sun is the center for the whole solar system, so the sun goes round another greater sun. So that means all the solar system is together going around a bigger sun.
Наше Солнце вместе с другими звездами тоже совершает вращение, движение, цикличное вокруг других звезд, вокруг большого Солнца.
And within the solar system, this around the sun, all these planets are going around the sun.
И внутри них Солнечных систем тоже планеты двигаются вокруг своих Солнц.
Including our Earth.
Включая нашу Землю.
And our Earth also is going around its own axis.
Наша Земля также совершает вращение вокруг своей оси.
And the moon of our solar system going around the Earth.
И Луна совершает вращение вокруг Земли.
So all this movement, which is a spiral path,
И все это движение, которое имеет спиральный путь.
so the spiral path itself, it is responsible for this electromagnetic activity in its creation.
И вот этот спиральный путь сам по себе, он отвечает за электромагнитную деятельность в этом творении.
That is why in an atom also you have the same thing. You have this nucleus.
Поэтому в атоме мы видим то же самое. Там идет вращение.
And all the electrons are going around this nucleus.
Электроны, протоны, нейтроны, все они вращаются.
Electrons.
И электроны вращаются вокруг ядра.
So, this is that is why Madam Blavatsky explains in her book that you apply the law of correspondence when you apply. So, if you want to know about the working of the solar system, when you observe how an atom is working, so you can know, because atom is a miniature solar system.
Поэтому мадам Блаватская, она объясняет вот этот закон подобия, что в принципе, изучая атом, то как там происходит движение, мы можем узнать о нашей Солнечной системе.
So that is what is explained in this story also, that that Ganga has to first enter the tufts of Shiva and take a spiral path inside and then can come down.
Вот это точно объясняется, что Ганга вначале должна спуститься на голову Шивы, там пройти эту спираль, и только потом, пройдя спираль, Ганга спускается сюда, сходит на землю.
Even in the electric, where they produce electricity, there also you see a big turbine. The turbine is always moving around its own axis. And this movement of turbine around the axis, what is happening? It is electromagnetic activity is manifested there, either by the force of the water or by force of the steam, whatever it may be. So that this turbine, the rotor, which moves around itself. So this is the same principle, this electromagnetic phenomenon. So this is how you have this electricity coming out.
И вот тот же самый принцип мы видим на электростанциях, на разных гидро- и тепловых электростанциях, там, где вращаются турбины, они вращают роторы и вырабатывают точно так же работает пуши.
So the earth, our earth also has its own axis, central axis which is called Meru.
И точно так же наша Земля имеет
Axis, a central axis around which the earth, around its own axis the earth keeps rotating. Earth is also like a rotor. So therefore our earth is our electromagnetic, creates our electromagnetic field. And we have also such electromagnet in ourselves. That is our vertebral column. That is why in the Rudrasukta in the beginning, our vertebral column is held by Rudra in his hand. That means this electromagnetic activity is manifested through this. They bow him. Bow.
Держит лук в руке, это наш позвоночник, который является как раз этим нашего тела.
So every one of us is a unit of this electromagnetic field.
И каждый из нас является единицей электромагнитного поля.
Vasudeva.